Hello, sir. Very good afternoon.
Namaste. Namaste,
Namaste,
madam.
sir. Yes, sir. We are just waiting for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Sriram, sir. Yes, Dr. Sriram. He is our Dr. H.S. Vijay Kumar. He is our registrar, Parul University.
Namaste.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
So he is joining us for this today's session. Sir, shall we start within a 2 minutes? That's okay?
No problem, madam. Absolutely no problem.
Okay. So we will start sharp 2 o'clock. So our today's topic is uh, indexing and citation databases for research. Dr. Sriram is going to take the session today's. I am asking to you, sir, registrar, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, I am asking that today's our session is specially for the indexing and citation of the citation or databases for research. And Dr. Ram is right now in Sikkim University as a librarian. I am audible?
Doctor, do you recall the name?
Sir, sorry for the interruption, but your voice is not clear.
Oh, madam, it's in full volume. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay.
Should I go elsewhere? Because I'm sitting in a room where
Okay.
usually I speak from here.
Okay.
And it is clear. Is it clear now, madam?
Yeah, little bit, not that much clear, but little bit.
Okay, just a minute,
I think you have to use you headphone because so many echo is there.
Just a minute, just a minute.
Yeah,
madam, I'll
that's
try.
now it's perfect.
That's true.
Now it's perfect.
But the setting is not perfect. I will come somewhere else. Okay.
Okay.
Is it okay now, madam? Is it okay now?
Yeah, now it's perfectly okay.
Okay, very fine, very fine. Okay.
Okay. So
Is Dr. Ram there?
yeah. Right now
okay.
he is a librarian in Sikkim University.
That's right.
He
That's
just
right.
joined the Sikkim University.
Okay, I was just trying to ask him because there was a friend of mine who was the librarian there in Sikkim University, whether he knows him. That's all. Nothing else.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So shall we start the session today?
Yes, madam. I'm ready, madam. No problem.
Okay. Fine. So very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all in today's webinar. I heartily welcome Dr. M.N. Patel, Sir, Provost, Parul University, Dr. H.S. Vijay Kumar, Registrar, Sir, Parul University, Deputy Registrar, Dr. Vandana Patel, Dean, Doctorate Studies and Research, Parul University, Dean, Directors, Principals, and faculty members and researchers of Parul University and other participants. Before going to our today's agenda, I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to Dr. Sriram, librarian, Sikkim University, for willingness to deliver the talk on today's topic, indexing and citation databases for research. I heartily welcome you, Sriram sir, to the webinar.
Thank you.
Sir. Thank you for your kindness. Our today's webinar on indexing and citation databases for research will cover the important aspects such as what are the indexing, citation databases, and how the citation databases is help to fulfill all the research needs like literature search, literature review, research impact analysis, sharing and networking of research impact, and overview of Web of Science and Scopus. There are many points will be covered in today's webinar. Before we start our session, I request Dr. H.S. Vijay Kumar Sir, Registrar, Parul University, to enlighten some important information about this webinar and motivate us our August gathering with your words, kind words. Please, sir. Over
Thank you
to
very much, madam. Thank you very much.
sir.
Namaskar to everyone. Respected Provost, sir, all my colleagues, the deans, the PhD students, I'm sure they are attending this webinar. In fact, I should congratulate both Dhaval madam and Vandana madam for choosing a topic of such a great interest for all our doctoral studies students. If I just look back what we were doing maybe about 35, 40 years ago when we got our PhD thesis, like a review of literature, which was a very important component of the entire thesis. And this had to be done right from the beginning, even before the problem was selected. And up to the time the thesis writing was actually completed. Now, this was the importance which we had given, which was being given and which is also now being given as far as the research work is concerned. So a researcher will be able to get a direction for his or her work when once the researcher comes to know what has been done in the same field earlier also. We are not talking of plagiarism here, but what we are trying to talk of is we don't want to reinvent the wheel. And this is the basic concept as far as going for the reviews are concerned. And the indexing will play a very, very important role in this. I remember when we were students at the doctoral level and when we were as youngsters handling research projects, we did not have this facility of this indexing being available online. Like search engines were not there. And since search engines were not there, then it was not easy for us to actually get all sorts of earlier reviews which were readily available. Though it may not be out of place, I am sure people of my generation remember we used to have something called index cards. This was the way the things were done. So you used to go to the library and then pour over all the big volumes of the journals. Plenty of them would be there and all in the printed form. Of course, microfilms were there, but they were very little in use. But so pour over all the volumes, and then you start noting down on the index card so that you could easily, compile them and then arrange them for your bibliographical needs. Now, this was the type of things we were doing. And I also remember, we had something called the CAB, Commonwealth Agriculture Bureau. Of course, I am a student of agriculture, so I used to go there. So we used to have what were called a CAB. Even today it is available. It is not that it is not available today, but only thing is, the researchers using these sources have reduced a lot because of online availability on this. So which means, like when you have to pour over so much of material which is available, and please remember, every science has grown and it has matured. So that means we have to make sure that whatever research we take up will be from the point where others have left. So if we have to know where others have left, we should have a complete update on what has happened in our field up to now. And the indexing of all the material which is available in that field of science is going to be very, very helpful. Now, the databases for the indexes. As I said, we were talking of CAB in the earlier days. But in the present days of everything being available on the digital medium, here also we have to filter out a lot as far as our searches are concerned. Now here comes all the indexing databases which will be helpful to us, which can give us something like a shortcut, compared to, swifting over innumerable data available or innumerable sources available. So these indexes or indexing databases will be helpful to us. And the each field of science has now become so specialized, or each field of science you find very narrow fields of specialization. And then, like when we go to the particular field which we are studying in or which we are working in, then naturally we will have to have a comprehensive view of the entire field. I always used to give example of, let us say, medicine to my students when I used to say, you go to your doctor and say something is wrong with your arm. The doctor asks you, right arm or left arm? You say the right arm. The doctor says, no, I'm a specialist in the left arm. You go to another specialist. So I go to that specialist and I say, which part of the arm? I say it is in the palm. Then he said, which finger on the palm? I say it's the index finger. He says, no, I'm specialized in actually middle finger. So for index finger, you have to go to somebody else. So this is the type of specialization which we are actually seeing today. And remember, every science has grown like this. So which means, like when I am doing my research, when I am trying to tackle the objectives which I have set for myself, I should be aware of how to link what I am doing with the science which is already known. That is why, at the doctoral level, usually, when we try to evaluate the thesis, the doctoral thesis, we try to ascertain what has it added to the body of the knowledge which is already available. It is not that, you do the same thing which somebody else has done. Like somebody has done something in Baroda. I will take a similar study, let us say in Delhi. And then I will say that was Baroda study, this is Delhi study, and hence my study is different from this. So this type of thing we have to forget. And then what we are trying to do now is we're only trying to ascertain whether the current study is going to add to the body of knowledge in science which is already available. So if we have to achieve this, the best route for us to take is to go through these reviews, which will be absolutely necessary. And these indexing databases, like, you started with Web of Science or Scopus journals and other things. Now, all these things will give us a comprehensive view of the work which has been done, especially in the published area. There is so much of work which is done, which perhaps may not find publication at all. Like if you, in the present days, I'm sure all the researchers are aware that as far as the COVID, its treatment and the way the things are tackled are concerned, anything which is published in Lancet is the one which is taken as the most authenticated, right? So also in every field of science, we find that there is a journal or there is a source. If the publication comes in that particular journal or source, everybody grabs it because, this is the most authenticated source as far as this is concerned. So that is how, you have hundreds of thousands of journals available. And today, what with all the online journals which are available, they are, they don't even come to your count. This is the way they are. Whereas in the earlier days, about 30, 40 years ago, for each field, you would have, for example, in India, you would have an Indian Journal of Medicine and let us say an International Journal of Medicine. Now, these are the two things which people used to do. Whereas now in medicine also, you have so many specializations and you have so many journals. All in all, our students and our researchers must understand that this is one particular area which is a very, very fundamental area for all of us to look into. And I'm sure Dr. Ram's, talk during the next 1.5 hours or 2 hours will be enlightening all of us about how exactly to use these indexing sources and indexing databases. And our students and staff, our students and faculty will stand to gain a lot by this. I am deeply honored, madam, that I was invited to be a part of the program. And I'm sure our university students and staff will stand to gain from this specialist lecture of Dr. Ram. Thank you very much. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words, and your presence is very important for us. Whenever we need, you are there to help us and guide us. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. and words. Thank you so much. So now I would like to introduce our today's expert, Dr. Sriram, University Librarian, Sikkim University at Sikkim. Professional Fellow, UK, ICSSR Fellow, Thailand. Dr. Sriram, with more than 20 years of experience in academic librarianship, recently he joined as a librarian at Sikkim University. Prior to his present assignment, he has worked as deputy librarian at Thupar Institute of Engineering and Technology, and he holds PhD degree in Library and Information Science from Osmania University, Hyderabad, along with the MSc. He has been awarded with Commonwealth Professional Fellowship in 2013 and went to University of East London, London, UK. He was also awarded with a fellowship under ICSSR NRCT bilateral exchange of scholars at Thamset, University of Bangkok, Thailand. He has published more than 60 research papers in journals, international as well as national, and reputed conference uh, proceedings. He has also edited 5 books, conference proceedings published in at IEEE Explore Digital Library. He has expertise in bibliometric analysis research, support service, reference management system, and instrumental in implementing various tools which support research activities. With this brief introduction about the expert of today's session, I would like to invite and hand over the session to Dr. Sriram, librarian. Before that, I hand over the session. One announcement for the participants. Please mute your audio and video during the session. Only write your queries in the chat box. Don't write good afternoon and hello messages in the chat box. It is not permissible. End of the session, we will try to answer your all queries. Please write in the chat box. We will put the feedback link in the chat box. Please fill that and submit it. Then only we are eligible to give you e-certificate of this session. Your feedback is very much valuable for us. Really, it's a very important and informative session going on. So hand over to you, sir, Dr. Sriram, sir. Please.
So thank you, madam. Thank you so much
Welcome, sir.
for giving me an opportunity to interact with such a good audience of research scholars, and especially thanks to the Honorable Registrar. So for paving the path for me and making it easy for the student to understand that what actually indexing and citation database is, and how the transformation has taken place since long 20 years back and now. So I'm really thankful to you, the whole authority of Parul University, for considering me as one of the experts for such kind of informative lectures, which is indeed a very, very important aspect in current scenario of a student, where the students are flooded with huge number of electronic resources, internet resources, and digging the information, a right kind of information for a particular research work is very, very crucial. And I'm sure that indexing databases and citation databases, which is being introduced since the time of Eugene Garfield, is going to be a much helpful for the people who take serious note on research and serious on selecting a pertinent topic for their research activity when they are going for their topics, choosing their topic for the particular writing of their thesis, projects, articles, conference papers, books, and all these things. So indeed, citation database is really going to be helpful for them to start their research, rather than bewildering with the huge search result of internet. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So I just start with sharing my screen, and then please confirm that if it is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Full screen, please.
Yeah. So
Yes.
before I start, I just wanted to put some questions and hope that audience attending this webinar must be going to answer these questions. So maybe most of the people are in the phase of searching literature. So going to do the Google search, or they are framing their research problem, or trying to make some kind of research search strategy. So maybe a few of you are preparing for their literature review. Maybe some of you are in the state of publishing phase, where you try to find out which journal you want to publish. You want to try to find out what are the impact factor. You are trying to understand what are the H index. Maybe some of you are at the stage of managing your citation or references, looking for searching different citations, searching different references, and putting into at one place and try to key into the papers when you are going to write your articles, or you are going to write your thesis chapter, everything. And maybe some of you are able to understand that if I have published something, I need to make it visible to other people through promoting your research profile, or promoting through your building a research network to your colleague or to your peers that you have published a research. Can you comment on this, or can you share it if something more can be added, value addition can be done into this research article. Further, if you, maybe some of you are also worried about if you have published any article and it is not being cited. So you are not getting any citation, or you are not able to assess the impact of your publication or impact of your research research activity. So all these things are very, very crucial at, as the research progresses. So whenever we do write something, we wanted to make it read by someone, or we wanted to make it public, or so that other can also read and decide. So all these things are possible using the citation databases, and citation database has a beauty of so it is visible. Yeah. So please confirm it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So citation database have beauty of compiling all these problems or phases of research into one place, and you are able to find out so pertinent information in the form of literature which has been already published into one place, known as the citation databases. So in this discussion, I am going to cover the indexing and citation databases, how these databases help in literature review, literature search, and giving the overview of Web of Science and Scopus as an example for the as a citation database. So maybe why you are interested in using indexing and citation databases. So maybe because of the information overload, huge amount of information are available, and it is very, very difficult for a student who has just started his research work, and to find out which information is actually useful for his research or her research work. So information overload is another very, very the very crucial aspect which led to the development of indexing and abstracting databases. So deciding which information is pertinent to which subject area is very difficult for a newcomer. So indexing and abstracting database give a very crucial information. It gives a very selective information on a particular research topic or particular subject area published by different authors, different country, different institution at one place. So it makes easier to identify the which information is pertinent to what kind of which literature is pertinent to which subject area. Second is Google is not everything. So generally, student, what they do is they start Google searching. Say though, without understanding the concept, without understanding the background theory. So generally, what we as a general user, we generally do and go for the Google searching, and huge page available for us, and deciding which information is authentic, which is resourceful, which is important, is very, very difficult using Google search engine. But at the same time, indexing and abstracting database gives very selective information and evaluated, reviewed information indexed in a systematic manner, and that going to help you to select very particular information about the a particular subject area through indexing and abstracting databases. Another is getting information from internet is like drinking water from the fire hose. So internet throw you huge amount of information, but which information is going to be useful is very, very difficult. So as a librarian, we always suggest our user to go for subject specialized databases like Web of Science, Ibisco, Sinki, or ProQuest, or Scopus. So all these databases are very, very specialized databases and related to a particular subject area. So using the specialized databases of a particular subject area certainly going to helpful rather than simply putting a search engine search into the internet and finding information, unrelated information, which is available in millions of pages over the internet. So there's a general consensus when we as a author, when we go for an article, we try to polish it in our own way. So we try to make a lot of fancy languages, everything, and try to make up ourselves so that my article is going to be very, very, it looks beautiful in terms of content, topic, arrangement, everything. But, you know, there are reviewers standing to get it post-mortem of your article. Once you submit your article, it is going through a very rigorous review process, and ultimately you when review results come, you get a lot of highlighted text. This is not clear, this data is not justified, this methodology is not clear, literature review is not complete, or so many things. Methodology is also not complete, it is already available, it is already published. So such kind of instances you are going to appear once your paper is going to review. And also when you do incomplete literature review, so maybe if you put your hard work and prepare a article and submit into the submit to the journal or submit to your supervisor, and immediately putting keywords into a database or putting your title into a database, it is found that this article is already published by someone else. So it leads to a lot of frustration. So that's why it is very, very important for each and every research scholars who is going to start their research. They must go a thorough literature review process and try to find out the most pertinent published document which is available into indexed into a databases, and then decide that the topic which they are going to take is not already done by something or someone else. Rather, you have to start your research process after a thorough literature search and thorough literature review, and then come to a conclusion how that's why it is suggested that you specialize in an indexing databases like Scopus, Web of Science, and Capstract, PsycInfo, Sinahal, Google Scholar. So at least finding a particular database and searching a particular database like at least Google Scholar will give you at least some result which relate to your query or which relate to your research problem. So based on those research, it is always advisable to consult a specialized databases for the before you start your work, so that you can have a fair idea about the research topic which you are going to take is not have been taken by someone else, or if something has already done on a particular topic, from where you can start your research work. So all these things come once you go for a thorough literature review, and that thorough literature review is possible using specialized indexing and citation databases. So what is indexing and citation databases? This is basically the ordered list of citations of article, each accompanied by a list of citing articles. So citation databases, what they do is, whatever literature is being published, they thoroughly review it, evaluate it, and index into the database to make a single platform. So all the data, all the published literature which is published in a different journals, different conferences, books, and deliberations, review article, conference articles, so they are thoroughly reviewed and put into one databases. Popularly, we call it as a citation and indexing databases. So citation is basically, it is a symbolizes the conceptual association of the scientist idea recognized by publishing research authors. So it is basically give you that if I have some idea and which I have published it, and someone has referred it into their work, it means I'm going to cite someone else idea into my my work, and I correlate with the concept with the earlier published activity. Maybe when author cites a reference in their papers, authors makes an explicit linkage between the current research and prior work. Meaning by this is, suppose if today something has been done on nanotechnology, and if I wanted to proceed with correlation of application of nanotechnology in treatment of coronavirus disease, it means I am linking the nanotechnology concept with current situation of COVID-19 situation. So this kind of citing or referencing gives a complete chain of development of the subject area. So how one subject has been developed and what kind of concept has been originated from one topic to other topic, or one subject area to other subject area, or one concept is applied from one subject area to different subject area, is traced through the published literature. So the indexing and citation database gives you an opportunity to establish a chain from concept of origin to recent development in the particular field. So sometimes we confuse with the references and citations. So sometimes we use it interchangeably. So references and citations, sometimes we call it the same thing, but there is a technical difference in these two terminology. So for example, when we are going to write an article, generally we are having a standard format of title, abstract, introduction, method, result, discussion, and at the end of the paper we generally cite a reference. So this reference is generally if article R contained a bibliographic reference using and describing a paper C, so R contains a reference to C. It means ki while going to the introduction or literature review, we generally quote some kind of references. So this quoting is generally referred as we are referring to a certain kind of citations. And then citation C is taken as a credit that someone, some paper R has cited one article C. So it gives you a dual benefit. One is one article R has been cited and C has got one citation from an article R. So this is basically a credit giving functionality. So once you are citing a paper, you are giving a credit to other author who have already published a certain concept which is related to your concept. So maybe your concept may be unique, or your concept may be different, your concept may be novel. All these things must be properly acknowledged by giving certain kind of citation. So the number of citations, maybe one paper maybe have on average 30 to 40 or 50 or 100 citations. So it means all those 100 cited articles get one credit of citations. So this is how we have to understand what is the difference between citation R or citation and citation. So maybe while writing a paper, you generally write in this way. So you give a citation note, and then at the end of the paper, you cite the full bibliographic detail of the citation. So this is how we are representing, and then coming up to a citation index based on all those papers which have been cited into papers published in a different journals, conference, and books chapters. So citation index is generally gives you legitimacy about a concept. So anything which have been published into published and indexed into a citation database is considered to be legitimate. Means the things have been done through proper evaluation process or proper careful evaluation process, and also have been developed through evaluating the publication as well. Means the suppose you had submitted a paper into a journal, and then the paper has gone to a different phase of review process, and then also the journal in which the paper has been published, it has also followed certain kind of guidelines of laid down by the citation databases, like regularity, international panel of reviewers, international panel of editors, its typesetting, the frequency. A lot of parameters are used to judge a citation as indexing of a publication by a citation database. So citation index, anything which is available from citation databases is assumed to be a legitimate document, which is not a fraud, or it is not a forced publication where you are going to publish your article. The other option is the citation index indexes the citation of an article, making linking and cross-linking of the different articles or cited works. It means you will find a lot of information or chain of information which gives you the co-citation network of a particular document. Means maybe a document A cited ABC paper, and maybe citation document B also cited BCD papers. So it means that all these documents are having some kind of relationship, some kind of concept which are actually related between A and B. So this gives the co-citation network. So this is very, very important when you go for literature review or literature search. So this concept give us the pearl grooming. So maybe people going for the systematic review, or maybe they are going for literature search or literature review. So you need to find out some kind of primary document. Maybe you then again you go for some kind of secondary document, and then further relevant documents which are related to the concept published into different document A and B. So this is very, very important, and in this way you can you are able to trace the origin of the document or origin of the concept, and then you can incorporate that from where, how much work has been already done, and from where you are going to start your research work, or your research problem using these citation databases. These databases also provide certain kind of indices, which is used to measure the impact of research, like maybe how many citations, what is the H index, what is G index, or I10 index. All these things are possible through citation databases also. Then also citation databases are originally designed for literature review and literature search by researchers. But now these are also being used for the benchmarking, ranking, and research evaluation, and many more aspects related to the research activity, research productivity, promotions, and funding. All these things are being used using the citation databases. And so you might have been heard about the Times Higher Education Ranking and NIRF ranking. All these things are being carried out based on the citation data available from Web of Science and Scopus. So maybe some lectures have been already organized by the Parallel University on these topics as well. So initially it was Eugene Garfield who has given the concept of citations, and he established a company that is known as ISI, but now this company is owned by Clarivate Analytics. So this is one of the major database, Web of Science, which is being used for different kind of literature review and benchmarking activity across the globe. Another database is Scopus, is a product of Elsevier, which is also being used for the purpose of literature review and benchmarking activities. So different databases, basically, they can be used as a building block for the research. Building block, I mean to say that, so whenever you start your thinking about research, you must consult citation databases. So how these are building blocks? Like, these are the source of literature for your literature review. It is most important role of these citation databases. So anyone looking for literature for writing their article, theses, projects, conference papers, or any scholarly activity, citation databases are going to be major source of information. So Google search can help you, but specialized database is going to be more important when you are going to start your literature review process. It is going to be a rich source of information at one place. So since these databases indexes conference papers, journals, newspaper, government and legal publications, patent, standards, reports, books, periodicals, so many things are available at one place. And these are providing a lot of rich information about the subject, descriptors using keywords, subject terms, classification terms, full text finder, subject area, and funding opportunities. So all these things are possible at one place. So you need not to jump from here and there. Everything you will find at one place, which is going to be helpful for you to retrieve the literature. It provides multifaceted search facility through citation databases. You can have the multiple approach to find out the information, either searching by title, searching by author, searching by ISSN number, ISBN number, or ZID, or author field, or medical subject heading. All these things are possible through general search or advanced search features. It also give you an opportunity to do some kind of ranking and benchmarking activity, research impact analysis, like popularly it is called as bibliometric analysis. And based on the bibliometric analysis, you are going to find out which are the popular institutions, which are the popular authors, which are the popular journals, which are related to your subject area. So anyone working in the field of nanotechnology, they can easily find out who are the key person who have published most number of people in nanotechnology, or which are the key journals which are frequently publishing nanotechnology related research activity. Or you can also find out which are the key institutions across the globe which are working in the particular field of nanotechnology. So all these things are possible through citation databases. And along with that, we can also make our personal publication management activity, and also presence our personal presence in research community. So we can manage our personal data, we can track our citation, we can connect with the similar interest people, and also we can communicate, collaborate, and network with the similar interest people in order to enhance our research using these databases. So how these indexing databases or citation databases are the literature source. So I'm going to give you this. This is funnel, inverted funnel. We call it funnel structure, where generally what we do is we go for broader, find out the background of the study, and then distance, try to understand some kind of distant related research work related to your work, and then try to filter out to reach a research problem. So finding a research, identification of research problem is possible using citation databases. So you conduct a general search. So you will get huge number of literature published on a particular topic, but maybe all those research publication may be not related to your work, which you want to reach out, or which we want to see that this is not related to your topic, but you wanted more specific from broader to narrower. So filtering options available into the databases gives you the current trend, where you are able to find out what kind of study is already happened, and from where you are going to start your research work. So at the tip of this funnel, inverted funnel, you are trying to reach there, and that is possible through your systematic literature filtering or systematic literature review, and that systematic literature review is possible using the citation databases. So digging into the literature give you a more fair idea how you are going to reach to that peak of that funnel, and then try to find out whether how many literature have been already published based on major works. Maybe these major works you can find out from literature databases, or your colleague recommend, or you try to find out some cited work related to this. Then further, you broaden your search criteria and try to filter out if something has been come out from those major area. Maybe some more topics or some more filtration you want to carry out, and then you go for further searching or further searching using some specialized databases like Google Scholar or Web of Science. But then you have to take a decision that how much work has been already done and what has not been done. Then it gives you the new ideas. That new idea, maybe you're coming from article alerting system, or you may be going through table of content, or you will find out that this is the things which is new came up, and I wanted to start looking on this topic, whether something has been done, or this can be a new problem for this future research. So this is how digging into the literature can help you to come up with a new problem. So for example, let us see how search strategy using different databases, citation databases, gives you a new research problem. Is able to help you to find out the research problem. For example, I have just taken a random keyword coronavirus, and I conducted a search in Web of Science, and it was this data is very little bit old when the coronavirus started. So I conducted a search, and I found that there are 13,431 article have been indexed, and I analyzed this 13,431 article and published my paper in Science and Technology Library. And that article now got 22 Google citation. So that paper is in public domain. If you want to read, you can find out that article in Science and Technology Library. So I analyze this and I try to find out whether a research problem using coronavirus can be traced out or not. So it is said that the coronavirus has come from China. So I use a country China and found that there are 2979 article already published. Then Italy was the first country where a lot of problem happened initially. So again, I conducted a search using Italy and then find that there are 412 articles which is related to the coronavirus published from Italy. Then further, I explored that is there any relation between Italy and China through published literature. Then I found that there are 20 articles which have been published on these two in collaboration with these two countries. Then further, I explored that is there any economic impact on coronavirus. So you can see that there are two articles. It means, suppose if you want to frame up a problem that coronavirus impact on Italy, economic condition of Italy, you will find two articles. It means this is the most recent impact of most recent article published on economic condition of coronavirus on Italy. So maybe you can take this topic to further study as a new research problem. So likewise, this can be a new research topic using the literature databases. So further, again, I explored some vaccination activity, how many articles have been published using vaccines. So I found that there are 543 articles published from China on vaccine. Then further, I see that if it is related to Italy also, then I found that there are 45 articles related to vaccines which have been published from Italy. So likewise, you can the literature gives you an idea that how much articles or what recent article has been published on a particular topic or particular subject area, and the lesser number of results motivates you to go ahead with the research topic. So likewise, you can start thinking about how these databases can help you to identify a research problem based on topical search. Another example, so if I have already framed my mind, I wanted to conduct whether something has been already done on a particular research, particular subject, particular topic. Like I already preconceived a title like legal aspect of economic condition of women at workplace. So someone has suggested you go ahead with this topic. I think this is a new topic and you can work on. So based on this topic title, I conducted a search saying that women in workplace. So I found that there are 6,313 articles already published within quote women in workplace. So maybe this topic may not be suitable because already more than 6,000 articles have been already published. So maybe I can use some kind of advanced search feature to find out if something is already done. So again, I found that there are 6,870 articles have been published. But I wanted to see if economic condition can be idea, if can be a new area to study involving women at workplace. So there are 271 articles which shows that there are related to economic condition. Then further explore, again 271 is a good number of research already taken place. Then going through legal aspects, I found that there are 17 articles. So reading 70 articles is much easier than reading of 271 articles or or 6,870 articles. So based on these 17 articles, we can say that this legal aspect of economic condition and women at workplace could be one of the potential topic which can be taken further for the research. So likewise, this search strategy gives you a very good start point to identify the research problem of your subject area using the citation databases. So this is Web of Science, one of the most popular worldwide used databases, which indexes around 12,000 journals in multiple subject area. So it is most widely used citation database globally. It gives you an opportunity to have impact assessment in terms of research, citation, H-index, impact factor, journal impact. All these things are possible through Web of Science. It is most trusted source for the literature review. So before you start your work, you are advised to use Web of Science to find out the already published literature on your topic, and you may use you can use different facility of different search facility available in Web of Science to find out the particular already published literature, and then you can decide the topic of your research work, or you can go for the literature review and other things. It also gives a potential information about collaboration, impact, also gives information about performance evaluation and ranking can be possible through Web of Science. So I'll just go with some screenshots, which how you are going to use Web of Science for the purpose of literature searching. So it gives you information about field search. In the basic search criteria, you will able to find out the information using topic. Topic means keywords, by author, by institutions, affiliations, organization, ISSN number, so many things, journal name, article title, and in combination with Boolean operators and or not, you can filter out the different data using this basic search facility. It also give you limit your research by time. So maybe within 5 years or year or last 4 week or last 2 week, current week, or so you can give a custom range if you want interested in a particular understanding the research trends on a particular time period. It also gives you opportunity to select, suppose anyone interested in science citation index, or maybe social science citation index, or arts and humanity index. So maybe in India, we are having access to Web of Science through INFLIMNET consortia. So generally 3 databases are being accessible to Indian libraries. It also provides author search. So if you know the author's first name, last name, and maybe affiliation, you will able to find out the details publication which an author has been published. It also gives the cited reference search. So if you wanted to validate whether the reference which you are referring is cited in Web of Science or not, you can give a title, or you can provide all the bibliographic details and find out whether this is indexed into Web of Science or not. It also gives you the advanced search features where you can combine different field tags available into available from the Web of Science using different Boolean operators, and then you can reach out at the different. You can narrow down the whole research topic into a selected number of publications available on that topic. So these are very important field search criteria available from Web of Science, which can be used to filter out the literatures indexed in citation databases. So this is the result page. So once you, I started with clove, long, there's a plant, medicinal plant, long. So I conducted a search using these topics. for the keywords used for the globe, and there were 3956 articles indexed in Web of Science. So the result is available in chronological order. You can filter out by time cited, you can filter by usage count, you can filter by relevance, and also by, you can also find out the exporting the data. So the exporting is basically used for if you want to get the article referred into an article. So suppose you are writing a paper and you wanted to cite these article into your own article, then you can export into a bibliographic format like any software or Excel sheet or any other tool which you feel comfortable using for the management of bibliography. You can export all the data into the software. Then you can also see the citation impact in terms of usage count, citation, last 180 days use since the day it has been published. All this information are published, available on the search result page. It also gives an opportunity to find out whether it is open access or not. So you can easily find out the full text paper of those articles. On article detail page, it gives you full complete bibliographic detail of the article, including the contact details, affiliations, who are the co-authors, which journal it has been published, which are the volume number, issue number, on which date it has been published, what kind of document it is. So all the full bibliographic detail you find on article detail page. Also, you can find out the abstract. So abstract give you an idea. Going through the abstract, you can choose whether this article is usable for you or not. It also gives the citation networks. So if the article is already cited by others, you can generate a citation network from there. And then Pearl grooming, what I was talking earlier, means the number of references which has been cited and the further related records. So if anything which is related to this article can also further explode and can be handled if they are found useful to your current research topic. So this is the complete picture of these things are available. So exporting and saving results, it gives you the option to export. Export means you can export into the EndNote. EndNote is a reference management software marketed by Web of Science. You can also save it EndNote online. So you have to create a login on Web of Science, and you can keep on saving the references which you want to use for your writing in future. You can also export into Excel. You can also claim it on Publance. Publance is a social networking platform of Web of Science, which gives a complete picture of your citation status of author. You can also add into the Insight. Insight is a database for journal citation report, which gives you the complete analysis of the research in terms of benchmarking and ranking. You can also export into RefWork, and it's another software, print it, email, or download. So all these exporting facilities are available, and this is actually very, very important. Exporting is very, very important, because once suppose I found 3,956 article, but of course 3,956 article is not going to be useful, is not useful for me, but I have to select only 100 or 50 articles which is very, very relevant to my research topic. So I'll select 100 article or 50 article and then export into a particular software or Excel sheet, and those review of those 50 article or 100 article is much easier than 3,956 articles. So reviewing those 50 articles can be very, very important, and that can play an important role in framing your research problem. So review of that, from here the review of literature start. So exporting into a database or exporting into Excel, exporting into file format, any file format is going to be the start point of your literature review process. So you can also mark, suppose you don't want to export it, but you want to save it for your future reference, you can mark it on the Web of Science platform itself. And this website, it will be available at this platform for longer. You at your login credentials, and you can use as and when you want to use it. So you can save it for your future reference. You can use it for the further impact analysis, or you can export into article for citation purposes, or you can also get an alerts for the topic you have saved, and you can develop a search strategy for future progress. So this exporting is very, very important, and it is going to play a important role in literature review process. You can also generate a bibliography, because suppose you selected 25 article or 50 article, you can generate a bibliography, so that bibliography can be useful for your writing the paper. So suppose you find out 25 articles which are pertinent to a particular research topic, and you generated a bibliography and save it on the bibliographic bibliographic software like EndNote or Mendeley, then this can be used for the writing of the paper. So once the bibliography is generated, it paves a path for research problem and publication. So you can easily cite these references into article or into thesis or into conference paper easily. It also helps in citation covered while writing an article, thesis, conference. It also used in literature review writing, scoping review, systematic review. So whenever you are going to find out these bibliography, these are going to be used as a multiple purposes. For you can write so many papers using these literatures, exported literatures. You may use it these bibliography for the policy document also, or you can use across the citation format. So if you want to change the citation format from APA to Mendeley, or APA to IEEE style, or IEEE to Chicago, easily can be done using the softwares or using the reference management tools. So this is very, very, this facility is available from citation databases. So this is another important aspect is the analysis of the results of your search query, which you have carried out using the citation databases. So popularly we call it bibliometric analysis. So bibliometric analysis is basically the statistical application of mathematical application of literature. So anything which is mathematics can be applied on literature. It gives you bibliometrics subject. Bibliometrics is now gaining momentum because of the importance to the ranking is being given. So who is publishing what number of papers, which institution is publishing how much papers, which country is publishing more number of papers. All these things are being carried out through bibliometric analysis only. So maybe this analysis may be related to annual growth, who are the productive authors, who are the institutions, countries, journals, maybe quantitatively and also qualitatively in terms of citation and research impact. So this is all possible through this citation databases only. So maybe quantitative analysis, maybe annual growth, journals, authors, institutions, country, maybe total publications, share, citation, average citations, authorship pattern, maybe journal productivity, impact factor, maybe authors, productive authors, what are the citations, how much, to whom they have collaborated, who are the co-authors, maybe institutes, productive institutions, what are the citations, what are the citation per paper, how much collaborations, international collaboration the institute have. So all these things are possible through analyzing the bibliometric, applying the bibliometric rules in analyzing the literature available from content, this citation databases. Keyword analysis also gives you the origin of the subject area. So if you analyze the keywords, it gives you the dispersion of the subject, how the subject have been evolved from one subject area to another subject area. So this is the cloud are now being used for the purpose of analyzing the origin of the subjects. So keywords clouds are now coming up and these are being analyzed using different big data analytics tools, and trying to find out how the subject have been diverged from one concept to another concept. So this is actually possible through the keywords which is available from citation databases. So analysis of bibliometrics, bibliometric analysis is gaining momentum because it is giving opportunity to study the research trend in a given field. It also gives you information about who are the key authors which are publishing in a particular field area, and which are the institutions engaged in a particular subject area, what are the country where this research is happening, who are the authors, which are the potential journals where you are to publish your paper on a particular subject area, and also finding the reputation of the article in terms of citation, or reputation of the journal in terms of impact factor. So all these things are possible after careful bibliometric analysis of the results which are available from citation databases. So research impact analysis, another crucial role which is available from the citation databases, which can be possible through these databases, is the assessment of impact. So maybe I think earlier lecture done by Dr. Sanjay Kataria has highlighted how different matrices have been used to analyze the research impact. So citation analysis is basically one of the most used parameter nowadays considered for the impact analysis. So that is, if any work has been referred by any other work, it means that work has an impact over the other and has made a contribution to the research that cited. So in literary term or in scientific community, so the literature which have been published are the impact has been judged based on the citation count. So based on the policy documents, how many policy document have cited your work, how many decisions have been taken based on your research work. All these things gives you impact of your research work. So mainly, generally, what we do is we go for the citation. How many times the article have been cited, we generally consider is impactful. So citation analysis gives you tracking of the cited reference, and it involves identifying the article, book, or any other material that have cited the specific work. So based on this, you judge that you can judge that which have been published, whether the article is having an impact on your research work or not. So counting the citation, counting the referencing can give you a fair idea that the literature which you are going to refer is actually impactful because it has received so many citations over the time. So maybe a citation maybe gives you who is citing your work and how often it is used to measure the impact of the researchers and article impact. So you can see that the Google citation gives you the current rates of citation. This is my Google citation profile. Another important aspect is generally people look for is impact factor. So assessing the journal impact is based on the impact factor, which is generally a measure of the average article in a journal which have been cited by a particular year. So higher is the impact factor, higher is the value of the journal. So everyone, maybe your university is having a policy on at least you should publish your research work, 1 or 2 paper in journal bearing impact factor. So citation database provides you an opportunity to find out the journal which have impact factor. So impact factor gives you a quality indication of your published work into a journal bearing impact factor. So please note that not all journals are ranked in terms of impact factor. So Web of Science indexes about 12,000 plus journal, which they annually calculate the impact factor. And this impact factor is generally calculated as the average number of citations which the previous 2 years have been accumulated, divided by total number of articles published in previous 2 years. For example, here for the journal impact factor for the 2019, so total number of sites accumulated by the journal in 2017 and 18 divided by total number of publishable citable items, I mean published articles in these previous 2 years gives you an average number, which is called the impact factor. So this is very simple, and it is proprietary item of the Clarabit Analytics. So there are so many false impact factor being claimed by so many journals. So be aware that no other agency can claim impact factor rather than impact factor of the journal is only provided by Clarabit Analytics in its annual on annual basis. So as of now, maybe by May, June, you are going to have the impact factor for 2019 20. So everyone, so many people comes, so many journals claim that they have impact factor, but actually they are not. That impact factor is not correct. So if you want to check that impact factor, you must visit Web of Science or Journal Citation Report and try to find out whether that journal is listed in Web of Science or Journal Citation Report or not. If it is not there, it means that impact factor is not correct. That is misleading impact factor. It also gives the metrics H-index. H-index simple meaning is if you want to calculate H-index of 5, it means 5 articles have citation 5 or more. Simple term, H-index measures the quality of an author, means its productivity, and gives you an idea that higher is the H-index value, is going to be a more valuable for you in your promotions, in your funding and other job opportunity when you go for any interview and other things. So it's in simple term, anyone having H-index 5 means 5 papers have been published. 5 papers published have, maybe you have published 10 papers, but your 5 papers have citation 5 or more. So your H-index will become 5. So this is, and these are the arranged according to decreasing number of citations, and wherever you find that the 5 articles with 5 or more citation become H-index of 5. Now you can see that in the graph, H number of papers having H citations become H-index of H. So these are the available through citation data, automatically calculated. You need not to worry about calculating the H-index or this, but you can easily understand that how manually can be H-index can be calculated as well. So it also gives the citation analysis, and then you can analyze the citation in terms of total publication, how H-index is there, how many times it is cited, what is average citation impact, and what is the self-citations, and how many articles citing the complete picture. So this everything citation report can be generated using Web of Science platform. Citation analysis help you to, most importantly, it is important and breakthrough article in your given topic. You can find out that which are the key articles which have been which have scored highest number of citations. So you can find out the key research area. Is also help you to establish the impact that particular work has already done, and by identifying which other authors are working their work upon the cited within their own papers. So you can easily find out that a particular research article which have been cited by how many authors in their research work. It gives you to learn more about the field or a topic by identifying the seminal work in that area. So it is very, very easy to identify. Suppose a paper has been cited by 10 articles. So going through those 10 articles, you can understand that what kind of impact it is coming up, or what kind of research trend it is coming up on that particular given research area. It is also help to determine that what impact a particular author has or in a particular discipline. So you can easily identify if more number of citations, author is more cited, very often cited, it means that author is very is working nicely in that particular area. It also help in promotion and tenure purposes by looking at the quality of the sources where scholar work has been published and cited. So more citation, it means your work is more popular. It means you are going to maybe benefit with promotion, or maybe you can get funding, or maybe you can establish collaboration with other author as well. So citation analysis is very, very important in analyzing the research impact of individual, author, institutions, country. All these things are going to be very crucial on the particular subject areas. Another important is Web of Science product is the Publons profile. The Publon is a platform which gives you to assess, because maybe you may not have access to the Web of Science, but if you have a Publon profile, you can keep on adding your papers into the on Publons, and you can assess your research impact. So easily you can find out how many papers have been published and indexed in Web of Science, how much citations you have on Web of Science, what is H index from Web of Science, and also if you are going for review, so it is how much review you have already conducted, and it gives you a complete picture of your review activity on Publons. So every authors are advised to create a Publon profile on researcher ID and start quoting these researcher ID and Publon profile once you go for any kind of scholarly activity in this area. So it also Web of Science citation database also gives an opportunity to connect a researcher either through your institutional ID or email ID, and you can easily connect for future collaboration. So you can make a network by contacting authors on their email, and also you can share your research or share your idea so that future further collaboration can be possible. Another database is bibliographic database or citation database is Scopus, which is a product of Elsevier Science. So Scopus is another most comprehensive and bigger database as compared to Web of Science. It contains indexing of about 25,000 more titles from 7,000 publishers, and around 1.7 million of cited references are available in Scopus databases. So including conference, books, and book chapters, everything, it says Scopus claims that they are indexing more than 40,000 records, 40,000 titles, maybe both in terms of journal, conferences, books, and other materials, which gives you a platform that have a state-of-art search tool and can easily able to filter, easy to use, and gives lot of avenue for the purpose of literature review and literature search platform. Scopus is available at scopus.com. It is also subscription-based service from Elsevier Science. So it also have the simple search, basic search facility. Maybe you can use in combination with the article title, abstract keywords, author, source title, keywords, affiliation. All these things are possible for the searching from Scopus database. And it also have facility to search by author name. It also have, like, this is my author profile at Scopus, and I can easily see my complete publication statistics available in the Scopus platform. So wherever you and this Scopus profile is integrated with ORCID ID, which is the unique identification number for all my works put together into one ID. So everywhere it is integrated, and whichever document I publish, I can integrate it into one platform using this ORCID ID. I can see my citation status and also which article of mine is having how many number of citations. All these things are possible through Scopus author search profile page. Then it also give an opportunity to select by affiliation. So if I wanted to search by Parul University, I can use a affiliation field to search how many publications are there from Parul University. Then the advanced search features gives you an opportunity to limit your search by different field codes and also the operators and or not. So all these things can be combined with one another and can be used to filter out the search query using this. So this is result page where you can find out the open access options, gold, hybrid, bronze, green, and annual productions, how many papers have been published on a particular topic. And then you can see the complete document details, which gives opportunity to export into BibTeX format, Excel format, or you can give the related research data also. It also gives the related document. You can do Perl mining here. You can also find out the funding information. So tomorrow, if you want to write a project, you can also go for the funding details also. You can export the data into different format using CSV, RIS, Mendeley, BibTeX, plain text. All these things can be easily taken care using exporting options. You can analyze the result in the annual mode. You can go for the document by source title, in which journal these documents have been published. You can see which are the authors who have published most number of papers. You can see which are the document institutions which have published most number of papers, or you can find out the country. You can find out the different document type. You can find out the document subject category. All these things, when you provide you to analyze your result into different category and then choose the key statistical component which are useful for your research activity. You can also create citation overview. So by clicking at view citation overview, you can find out the citation trend starting from data publications, the last data publication till date. You can also find out which are the key journals which can be available for the databases. And it also gives some different matrices. These matrices are basically the maybe plummet matrices and other matrices provided by these things. Another important aspect is the ORCID ID. This ORCID ID is basically the open researcher and contributor ID. This gives you a unique identification number where you can, if you are using different name variant, so that ambiguity of different name variant can be avoided using this ORCID ID. So everyone is advised to use ORCID ID and create a login there and get your unique ORCID ID for the purpose of your impact, for combining all the information at one. Now, most of the publishers have started asking the ORCID ID for their research. Once you are going to submit an article to publisher, they are started asking you ORCID ID for their publications. So this is the overview I wanted to put about how this citation databases is going to be used for the purpose of different research activity and literature analysis. So if you agreed, I just wanted to show some overview about how this Web of Science look like. It is live, so I can just show you the some kind of results interface. So this is Web of Science. So I just put a keyword nanotechnology and go for the searching. So these are my result page. Around 40,000, over 40,000 results are there. So all the filtering criteria field are there. I can limit the search by year. I can limit by subject category, document type, and organization. Everything is possible through this funding agency, then authors, then source title. So all these things are possible, and then exporting into different format, EndNote, Excel, and reference work. Then you may add this thing into the mark list, and this mark list will give you the complete, suppose these 10 papers have been added into my mark list, and anytime I can save it for my future use. So for that, you have to create a login on Web of Science, and you can save this document will be available on your profile page. So you can analyze these results. So maybe there is a problem with the Web of Science. It is not allowing me to analyze. Anyway, this option gives you the analysis space where you can analyze by author, title, subject, and other things. Just wait a minute. So it gives complete document details, and on document details, you can find out the complete bibliographic details of the article. And then you can also find the author's email address where you can communicate if you wanted to seek some collaboration or networking. You can always write them for further collaboration or clarification. You can also find out the full text from the publisher, or you can find out the full text from Google Scholar. You can see the related document, which is very, very important in Perl mining. So all these related documents are available that can further be used for the purpose of further literature review and literature analysis. So this is how Web of Science can be used, and saving the literature can help you for the purpose of writing the papers and citing the document into your research article. So this is the complete picture of Web of Science, and also the Scopus. So this another interface, another database of bibliography, where you can find a lot of literature on any topic. So again, I conducting same result. I'm using same keywords to find out. You can see that there was a 40,000 result. Here it is 1,79,000 results on nanotechnology. So you can see huge difference in the coverage. Scopus covers huge number of literature as compared to Web of Science. So again, here you can filter out the different sources into different field, then chapters, then source title, then keywords, affiliations, and the country, languages. All these things are possible, and you can easily filter out the information based on the your requirement. And then you can limit the field based on the articles which you wanted to find out. It also gives you the option to export the data into different format, saving on the Mendeley, another reference management software. You can also export as a CSV. You can also BibTeX file if you are using LaTeX software, or you can simply plain text. You can do that. Then you can also create a citation network, because it is having more than 2000 citations, so it will not. So I just take a smaller number of article and then try to do citation analysis. This citation analysis gives you the so this is how you can see that how the citation has for 429 article, how the citation, you can go with the more citation and update it. So you can find out the citation status, and then these are the articles which have been cited by, you can also filter out by citation based on number of citations. So you can see that the highest number is 67. So you can easily find out the details of the document, and you can also find out the citation H-index, and you can also see this overview, how these, you can export these into Excel sheet and can be used for further analysis. This is also provide the author profile. So if you click at the name of any author, you can easily see the details of particular author and how many papers he has published. So likewise, you can check the personal details of your own author, and there is an option for author lookup, Scopus author lookup. So it's free service from Scopus. You can easily go for Scopus author lookup and put your name and first name, last name, and affiliation address, and you can easily identify your own details. So for example, it is mine. So I can say my author affiliations and my RCID ID, my author ID, Scopus ID, and my citation status, how many papers I have published, what is my H-index, how many citations I have already scored, and what are my subject areas where I have been publishing. So all these things are possible, and I can also see my papers which have been cited most number, like one of my article have been 36 citations. So all these things are possible from bibliographic databases. So actually these databases are going to be very, very useful for the purpose of both literature review as well as impact analysis, research impact analysis. So this is how the bibliographic and citation databases are being used for the purpose of for the research work and other further activity. So this is what I wanted to share with this. So over to Dhaval.
Really, it's a very informative session and very pinpointedly information which
Dhaval,
you shared. Yes, sir.
Just hold on. No, I just logged in with my mobile also because my laptop is going down. No.
Okay,
so I just
no problem. Yeah,
connect
no
the
problem.
mobile also so that I'll not lose the connectivity.
Between that, I will raise the questions. Some of the participants want to raise the questions. I think they are not able to write the questions in chat box. So raise your hands. We will unmute you. Divyank, unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Very good afternoon. Tell your
Ma'am.
question. Yeah.
Ma'am, as per to prior to the introduction of the sir, I would like to ask for the help from the sir about that the mistake that should be avoided during writing or submitting literature review, research article to a journal.
Are you getting the question?
No, I am not able to get what he wanted.
Okay. Yeah, please
Yes.
repeat your question. Divyank?
Ma'am, prior to the introduction of the sir, I would like to ask a help from sir. That is the mistake that should be avoided during writing or submitting literature review research article to the journal that we are publishing.
The mistakes you want to avoid.
Yes, yes.
So basically, the mistakes generally what we do is we don't follow the standard format provided by the publishers. So every journal there is a standard guideline, author guidelines, and we have to understand and follow those standard guidelines. So that guidelines generally gives you what is the format, how you are going to write introduction, how you are going to write methodology, how you are going to write literature review, what kind of citation styles and discussion, all these things that generally gives. So before you start, before you submit anything to any journal, any publisher, please follow the standard guideline provided by the publisher. So that will going to make your life easy, and your paper will not going to be desk rejected. So if you prepare your manuscript according to the standard guideline, it is going to help you a lot for the purpose of submission of your paper.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
There are so many plagiarism-free software, so you can use that also. So after submitting your paper, that cannot be rejected. Okay, check first
Yes,
of
ma'am.
all with
Thank you,
your
ma'am.
free
Thank you.
checkers. Yeah. Next is Tawabul. Mr. Tawabul, I think. Are you there? Ravi Jani. Ravi Jani is there? Please raise your hands. If you want to ask questions, please raise your hand. So we will unmute you. Then Dr. Pratima. Dr. Pratima. They are not able to write a question, I think so, in chat box. I don't know why. Then Chaitali Sheikh Shah. Chaitali Shah is there? Ravi? Chaitali Shah is there?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, sir. Divya? Who is there?
Ma'am,
Yes.
there is option in the chat box. It is showing disabled. That's why no one is able to write the question in the chat box.
Okay, okay. Prashant bhai, are you able to?
Ma'am, all are good here.
Okay.
Everyone can. Okay. Now please try to write down your queries.
Please unmute Ravi Jani.
He's
Chaitali
already
Shah.
unmuted. Yeah, they all are unmuted. Kindly ask them to unmute yourself and ask.
Ask the questions.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask?
Yes, yes, madam, please.
Sir has mentioned about the H index score and it is automatically calculated. So, for that, we need to have our account in the Google Scholar. Then only we will get our H index score, or any other method. How we will get our H index score?
So H index is basically you need not to, if you have published paper, and it is indexed by any citation databases. For example, Scopus or Web of Science or Google Scholar. The system automatically calculate the H index based on number of citations scored by you from the databases.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever
Yeah.
you
The question is, when and how can one join Web of Science and Scopus or any other?
I'm audible now?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
So, what I'm trying to say, suppose if you have published any paper and the paper has been indexed by citation databases like Web of Science or Scopus or any other database. So whatever number of citation you your paper will receive automatically computed by the system, and then you can get the H index. So like if you have published 10 papers and your 5 papers have citation 5 or more, your H index will become 5. So likewise, you need not to worry about to create any database or create your login. Or for Google Scholar, you need to, because Google Scholar is a generalized database and it doesn't recognize the individual if you don't claim your paper on Google Scholar. But in case of Web of Science, now it has become important for every author to at least have a permanent ID. So that ID is created by database and you have to claim that ID. So that's why Publon is now coming up in Web of Science platform, where you have to claim your paper so that it will be easy for you to identify that you.
We are not able to hear your voice.
Similarly,
Okay.
also create, hello.
Yes, yes, audible.
Similarly, Scopus also create an automatic author ID, and each paper, if it is matches with your affiliation, your name, all the papers are credited to your author ID. So based on that, the citation matrix, H index, and any other matrix are calculated for the author's benefit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Parul Vasava. She wants to ask, I think. Madam, are you there?
Please unmute and ask the question.
Unmute yourself. Any other questions? That's fine. Yeah. I love to talk. Yeah, unmute yourself and ask questions. AHE.
Hello,
Yeah,
I am Civil Engineering Department. My name is Abdul Hamid E.
okay.
Actually, sir was mentioning about ORCID ID, ORCID, and let me know who is providing ORCID, whether a research scholar can get an ORCID.
Who can
Or-
get ORCID?
ORCID, yeah.
Orchid ID.
Yeah, ORCID ID, yeah.
Yeah.
Whether a research scholar can get an ORCID ID.
Anyone can get ORCID ID. You just register
We
yourself.
have to register. There is some form available and we have to register ourselves.
Okay.
We have to put some all the authenticate details.
Okay.
It is very simple. You go to orchid.org and put your email, name, and everything, and verify your email, and you will get an ORCID ID.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? I think no questions. So we will conclude our session. That's fine. So, okay, fine. So really the session was very informative and enlightening. Definitely it will help our researchers and Parole University faculty members and staffs for their research work. And uh, I really appreciate on behalf of Parole University and this is just a token of appreciation. We are giving you the e-certificate. So for that, I will share my screen. So this is the just a formality for us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, madam.
On behalf of Parole University, I want to thanks to all. On behalf of Parole University, we from very bottom of our heart express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Shriram, University Librarian, Sikkim University, for conducting a very high effective session of today's webinar. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time from your busy schedule for this webinar. We really very thankful to Dr. M.N. Patel, sir, Provost, Parole University, Dr. H.S. Vijay Kumar, sir, Registrar, Parole University, for sparing their valuable time from their busy schedule and motivate us for conducting such informative and innovative sessions. A very big thank you to the participants of this session, especially Dean, Director, Principals, and Parole University faculty members for sparing their valuable time to get the knowledge. My sincere thanks to Mr. Brijesh Acharya for wonderful IT support. Because of him, we are able to see live on a Facebook. Thank you very much for the entire team of Parole University for their shared vision and continuous support. With this, and we can come to the end of today's session. Please fill the feedback form. Then only we are able to give you the e-certificate. Otherwise, we are not able to give you the e-certificate. So I request all the participants, please, your feedback is very important for us for arranging this type of continue webinars for your future research work. So till the end, next webinar will come on 27th. So till that, goodbye, take care, stay safe and stay home. Thank you once again to Dr. Shriram sir. Thank you all the participants for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Dr. Vandana.
Yeah,
Welcome.
today is the World Book Day. So on World Book Day, I shared one line with you. Read, read, read. So you never feel alone. Thank you so much. Keep reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you.